question was, since I think it would be a good idea for me to get into
More
just saying,
voices, right?
yeah, like
I
maybe
understood
saying,
your
okay,
question.
this is an F7, I'm sorry, an F9.
Is this thing rolling, by the way?
Yeah, with
Okay.
with a raised fifth or something. Should I just be able to just go right to it, or am I going to build it from the tritone?
Tell you what, Steve.
And
If you want, let's say you just decided,
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm going to try to answer your question, but
Okay.
it may seem like a circuitous route.
Okay, sure.
If you wanted to play just like Lenny Breau, as he plays in most situations,
Mm-hmm.
you would build your seventh chords first and foremost from not a tritone, but what you mean by that phrase, which is the third and the flat seven,
Yeah.
or the flat seven and the third right next to each other.
Okay.
The only reason I'm saying not tritone, just it's the semantic thing for
I
just a
know,
second,
understand.
is just because this is tritone music.
Right.
These sound like intervallic things that are 2 whole steps away,
Yeah.
3 whole steps away, whatever. Whereas these are seventh chords. If we're in F,
Right.
these are what we call functional sevens or functional tritones, if you will.
Uh-huh. I understand what you're saying. Now you're thinking melody first. I can tell from listening to you.
You're right. I always do.
Yeah.
Not always, but often. I just like that sound because of Lenny's exposure.
Yes.
The pianists, I grew up hearing the piano players all play this way.
He was the guy who showed everybody how to play like a piano
I
player.
think so. George invented a style, and Lenny invented a style, and Wes invented a style. Some guys literally invented a new way to play the axe, man. I guess
That's right.
Ike Everly or Merle Travis did too, and Chet really refined that sucker quite far too. I mean, each guy's had his own voice, that's for sure.
Right.
My voice when I'm doing this is absolutely just trying to sound like Lenny, with a touch of Grease more, just because I grew up in the streets of New York, so to speak. So there's just a little Grease, just a little more of that.
And he had a country.
Lenny's more
down in there.
Yeah, just my roots are a little blacker and Lenny's are a little whiter, but other than that, he's a hero to me because he had that cool sound by doing it this way. But definitely what I'm trying to do is say, if you're going to play like Lenny Breau, you do build from the 3 and 7 in either order,
Okay.
next to each other on either strings 5 and 4, which are his primary set. The second primary set is strings 6 and 5. I don't think you'd want to do it with the 7 and 6 just because it'd be too low,
Right.
Although way up the board it might fly.
Well, the intonation's a little bad out there,
okay.
especially on this guitar.
Does it have a special company's string that you found to be the best
well,
one?
I searched around. An 80 is what most people use, right?
Do you like a 130 like George uses a 130 or something?
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Oh, I thought he did.
Well,
Maybe I'm way...
Diodario makes what they call a Van Eck string. They spelled his name wrong on the pack with two P's.
Two P's. Yeah, I've seen that
That's
somewhere.
funny. But I think he uses an 80.
If you say so, then I believe
he
you.
probably used
In the old
a
days,
bunch
he
of
might have
different
used
stuff.
a much larger
Yeah,
string from
but
Clark.
actually, this is a pedal. This is an Emmons pedal steel 64.
Yeah, I've used something about 60
It's the only
through
one
70.
that sounds good on this guitar,
The 80 sounds what to you?
The 80s,
Is it quiet?
it warbles, it just goes
Double tones?
double tones and all that.
When they have the double tone, that means it's too flexible, and the magnets in those pickups might be giving it wolf tones, I think. Let me just grab
Yeah,
it for
sure.
a second.
I
See if
think
it's
they
got...
might be Ken Armstrong pickups. I don't even know what kind of pickups these are.
What is this, pray tell?
Oh, that's an A-frame. These classical cats use that. It's just so I don't have to practice with the strap.
Oh,
and I can have
it
the neck
supports
going
it
up.
on your knee or something?
Yeah. See this thing comes out and rests on well, you put it on the other leg actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Hey, that's a pretty wild idea.
Yeah, you actually have to be in a chair.
No, this is
to
outstanding.
Check it out. But see, what I did.
Oh, am I going to hurt something?
Since it's a double, it's
sorry.
made for a double width.
Uh-huh.
No. I just tied a shoestring around there to hold it
But
on.
I mean, this won't break or anything right now. It's not going to come off.
It
right?
may.
Oh, okay. I'll just hold this way now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's not that sturdy, really.
Okay, first thing I want to hear is... Okay, you're getting your wolf tones from the magnets.
I'm getting a new guitar in about 6 weeks.
do you have a real good man with pickups?
Joe Barton lives right.
Bartolini, is that? Or
No,
Barton?
Barton.
Okay.
He lives about 30 miles.
What you
from
want to do
where
is
I
talk to
left,
Joe
maybe.
about demagnetizing those magnets. It's the magnets that are pulling the string. These are either magnets or they're magnetized real strongly because you're getting magnet pull on string 6. Have you played a Stratocaster up in here?
Yeah.
You ever hear that real incredible double and triple note horrible thing?
Because it's getting too close to the
You're
pole
getting a tiny
piece,
bit
right?
of that, because those are magnets.
Right.
You're getting a little of that. It's not horrible.
Okay.
But it's
But I like the little
audible.
action, you know. But,
Same here, man.
Yeah. These are actually a pretty light set of strings.
It's just,
Boy,
I like
quite a pleasure to try your guitar.
Yeah, only. You know what they're doing is they're double winding these things. I don't know if you noticed, but this string's quieter than this string. This has
Yeah,
much more mid-range.
I-
This is subdued
I
and soft.
know.
That means there's probably a double wrap.
Hmm.
If you can talk to whoever's making these strings and try to get them to find the hugest chord they possibly could find. Like I have some old 26 planes, so I know they exist. If they could wind this on, say, a 26 plane instead of maybe an 18 plane, they might be able to give you a thick enough wrap where they could give you a 64 that's literally single wound and pack it in real tight.
I know.
Pack the winds in, tell them to wind it super tight, push those winds.
The Bella is
because
terrible with that. They just pull right apart when I put them on. When I make that bend,
Really?
they just break.
Is it made for a 7-string, ostensibly, or is it a pedal steel string?
No, it's actually just a guitar string. They'll make it to any specifications
what
you
you're
want,
saying.
and they said, well, what do you want?
I know what you
didn't
mean.
know.
I've
They
got
said-
some that came apart too.
They said, what do you want it made out of? And I said, well, I guess nickel. I said,
Nickel's great.
Now nickel, maybe it's too soft or something. I don't
Well,
know.
main thing is how many wraps. They've got to pack those
Ah.
wraps in so that they could give you a 64 that'll play like an 84 as far as thickness.
Yeah.
The thicker the string, the more tendency there is for it to have some problems in terms of that you're going to need the double wound. The reason that's a problem is it covers up the core. Pickup doesn't love wrappings. I'll tell you how you can prove that to yourself. Did you ever switch from a plain third to a wound third and not change your magnet settings on any, or vice versa, on any guitar?
No, you know, I should know more about.
Okay, let me
maintenance.
just say this real fast. Let's say
No,
you
this
pick
is
up
good.
a
I
Fender
need this.
Telecaster or
Yeah.
a Gibson Les Paul, and for some reason you get used to it for a few days, and it's got a 10, 13, 17. That's a rock and roll set,
Yeah.
but rockers think that's a heavyish set because it's a 10
Right.
instead of a 9 or an 8. But the 17 is mediumly substantial enough where you get some tone out of that third string.
That is a 17 on there, by the way.
Oh, your third string?
Yeah.
What's the scale length on this thing? 26?
It's 25 and a half. Well, it's about 25 and a half.
Oh, okay,
something
good.
like that.
This is a
It's
17, your third string. So your first string's an 11? 12?
Yeah, I put an 11 on there. But
Okay.
that's just because
Sure it's a 17 now, not an 18.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure about that.
Okay, so Dick, here's my point. Let's suppose you know your magnet sounds. Let's suppose right now you went home, you were going to change strings anyway.
Okay.
You were willing to waste a few moments because it wouldn't be a waste ultimately. You put a plain third, a wound third on 17. You can actually buy a wound 17. Or even wound 18. Let's say you don't have
Okay.
it. You say, well, this will definitely be louder. It's an 18 instead of a 17. It'll be like 30, 40% quieter in the plain string because the core is covered up by the wrap and the core is probably only a 10.
Okay.
So even if the wrap ain't, if it's some new space age metal that its magnet loves the core too, I mean the wrapping, the core is so thin. And the core is what pushes the magnet apparently. That's all I can deduce because for years I've wanted to play with wound thirds but I can't get the volume without raising the magnet right next to it that I like. Unless I go all the way to a 13, 17, 26 wound, which is like stevedore strings. You know?
Yeah, I have trouble playing on.
They hurt my hands. I mean, my
Heavy
hands hurt
set.
like crazy after
Yeah.
I would have that song. So anyway, if you could get somebody to wind you, some company, if they'd be willing, let's say you promise that if it works out, you'd order like 100 of them or something. You
yeah,
just
sure.
to show them that it's a good faith act, that you're not a flake guy.
Right.
Then say, but I need a string that isn't that thick, but plays tension-wise like a super thick string that has extra wraps and a nice thick core in there too. The thicker the better, you know. I mean, you could talk to them, they might say, well, our scientists tell us that 80 is still the reasonable figure, but we can up the dimension of the core and pack more wraps on there, and it'll play really tight if that's what you wish, sir, and be extraordinarily loud with the single wrap. You say, good. I'll take 2 for trial, hope for sample air of minimal type, and if it's great, like I hope you guys do, you'll get an order for 98 North.
Yeah, really.
I mean, they might do it.
I'm sure they would. Yeah, they'll make pretty much anything you want, I think. It's too bright in the upper register, you know, so I'm actually, this guitar's going to have 12 through 52, and then
The new one?
80, yeah,
The Barney?
that's a low one. Yeah, the Barney, and the 80's going to be a GHS, because Carl actually said we felt them next to each other, and the GHS was tauter. I guess it was like a more substantial string, like what you're talking about.
Against
you know?
which one? Against the Diodario?
Against the Diodario, yeah. You know, he just said, here, pull on it, just feel this GHS. It's harder to bend, you know, it's a tighter string and everything like that. I heard somewhere that somebody said you played a 7th string on that album that you put out, and I never believed it from listening to it. But
tell me like this one's over there's got, just tuned down a whole step. I should plug that in so you could hear it and see how good a telly can sound. This thing sounds wonderful, man.
You think so?
Oh, it's a.
I'm hanging on to it. You know.
It's, you know what it is. I'm just loving the range. I'm not factoring in the voice of it. I'm
You're
not
just
saying
the lower string.
Yeah, just hearing the range of it, having the low thing. You want me to wipe the strings down for you? I
Oh
perspire
no!
pretty heavily.
What's that?
I perspire pretty heavily,
that's
so I probably got them all soaked. Oh, you know what? This is. I don't know why I haven't plugged you.
Oh, that's okay.
It's just old habit. I went to change
I
guitars.
just plug this right in.
Yeah, we're not that loud. We won't squawk too bad. This one, however, in this channel, I've got to hold the ground. This is the trick to keep it from squawking too bad. See, that's without me holding the ground. Now, if I'm holding the ground,
Interesting.
actually, it's not working on this amp. I must be way up. Oh, that's why. Yeah, put me, please, at 12 o'clock.
Well,
That's great.
all right.
Yeah. See, now if I let go of this, check this. Watch this without holding it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to
Gotta
hold the
have your
ground.
hand on there. That's good.
Sometimes what I'm doing, if I have to, last minute,
Yeah,
and you
really.
see and it's in a rush, you hold the ground, you aim it as best you can, and just bam, you know.
Get in there. See what you're saying.
There's this thing too. Is this your E? Oh, it's only a half step today, this guitar. It's been sitting around at a half step. I guess I got bored. I get bored at one tuning level after a while. I'm always changing it. Which is a problem for arrangements, where you get the favorite keys finally on a song.
Right.
And then you're just waiting for that key, and then you're tuned in a different spot, and it's not sounding quite the same. But the plus side is then some other song that you said, oh, the keys aren't the greatest here, but I like the way the voicings lie here. Then suddenly the key sounds fantastic because you're in a new pitch level. I guess we're going to get to a place where there'll be buttons in the amps for all the deep tuning patches, you know? We won't have to detune the strings.
Yeah.
That's coming real soon.
Oh yeah.
It's already here, actually, just got to have the special equipment.
What I'm trying to do here's another kind of question, I guess, and maybe I can.
No, I haven't finished the answer to the other thing, too.
Oh,
I just got to go
okay,
back.
sure.
I'm just remembering loose end, but just for the moment, go ahead and play some more if you like.
Okay. Let's see.
You have nice control with your right hand, it's good. And do you ever practice doing the single line thing? Yeah, that's good, the Lenny thing. Do you ever try to do the single line thing where you're constantly dialoguing with chords, so there's very few moments in a protracted sense where your listener doesn't hear chord texture as well? Because solo guitar, well, first of all, do you do that where you dialogue with the lines and the chords back and forth? has a little more range, right, than what you were hearing out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's nice.
It's like, you know what it is? It leans in that direction, but it doesn't have the range of that thing by any stretch. Yeah, I guess I do mean holding. I'm back on that song. I don't
Okay,
know.
no, that's cool. Put it in.
No, wait. I'll go with the song we were playing. Anyway, I'm looking for dialogue textures.
I should change the key. I think I was doing that in G too.
That's fine.
You know what's the song I like to work on is that Tenderly. I like to do that in D.
D is beautiful.
Yeah, but if I'm doing some lines on there.
Yeah, you're mixing it up, putting some chords. The way Kenny Breau, Jim Hall, Barney Kessel would play, you know, there's just chords coming in between their lines. And then you can do the classic Lenny like you're doing there.
That way of playing, I'm really not good at that yet. But yeah, that would be a good thing, you know, because you could have the independence of the melody and.
I end up playing bass solos
I
when I
like
do.
it.
But it keeps the listener in the game a little bit because it's not predictable. That's one saving grace of it. It's surely not as pretty as playing the way you're doing it there. I want to stop you, Steve.
Sorry.
I shouldn't stop you because it sounds so damn good.
I was like, I think I started out playing this in F.
If you play all night for a crowd,
Yeah.
you just got to pray that they're elegant people because you play an elegant style guitar, man.
Well, thank you.
It's
well,
really.
you know,
I want to say what I mean and not have you misinterpret.
it's not that. It's not greasy.
That's right. It's not greasy. Now that isn't necessarily bad, man, because Bach
Yeah.
isn't greasy either. Hey, can I have some tobacco? Will that kill you, man?
Oh, hey.
I'm a pretty moderate
No
smoker,
problem.
but it's been like 8 hours now, so I try to just.
I wonder
space
about
it
that.
out.
You know, that's a good thing to think about.
The grease versus not grease. What I'm talking about though is, see, the textures you're playing are contrapuntal, man. You're a contrapuntal fucking guitar player, man. To use French vocabulary. You won't be offended and hurt if I say none of this is blues, man. You could go.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, you'd be doing that.
You-
but
if you
it's
go
not
like this.
funky, yeah.
I'm not saying you should, but if you
But
want
that
enough
is-
variety,
that is more
if you
blues,
go,
yeah.
this is my poor attempt at the style you were just doing. I still these notes. But if I'm playing, style guitar. It is.
Yeah.
So it's
Let
cool
me
to
see
have
if
a
I
lot
can
of
do
different textures if you want to keep the crowd interested all night. You're combining some Lenny and George there, which is good. I like it. It's very musical. Do you know how Ray Charles sounded in 1958?
No.
How old are you, Steve?
29?
Wow, you're a young cat, man.
Sometimes I don't feel
I'm
too
49.
young.
See, that's why
I just had gotten that book, The Jazz Guitar, its personalities and its players, and you're in there, as you probably know. And I noticed that we're both born in September.
Oh, you're older?
I'm the 10th, and you're, I think, the 26th, right?
Yeah, that's good memory.
And you know, then I flipped over to Lenny, and he was born in August, and George was born in
Joe
August, and
Diorio,
I'm like, what's
George
going
Van-
on here?
Well, you know, the stars are interesting things. I've studied
I'm
a
not
little
into
bit.
it, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
but-
the stuff in the newspaper is bunko, but there's
Yeah,
something
right.
there's something way beyond that that's the same stuff that I don't understand why it should have some validity. It seems to have something going on about it. Most of the people born in around September 10th are very analytical people, man. And like
Is
they
that
always,
right?
oh, Virgos are famous for it, man. Doesn't mean that
It's
other
a Virgo.
people aren't.
We're
Yeah.
virgins.
You're a
That's
Virgo.
the
I'm
problem.
the Libra. I'm the next sign.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
but
that's
I have all these other planets in this other sign after Libra, the next sign, and that's supposed to be a famous analytical sign too, or completely the opposite. All feeling like, don't make me think, man. Don't want me real intense. My
Yeah.
brother's that way. Although he can analyze, he just, what do you want to know? You know, it's just all feeling. He just don't. It doesn't matter why. We just feel it. You know. It's
Yeah.
People definitely go into types, whatever birth date, it doesn't even matter. It's just, you can sense some people love feelings, some people love the brain, some people love both, some people love neither. This is really something, in a parallel to the music stuff. Go ahead.
I can't do it.
No, you could. You could do it if that was important to you. But you betray your elegant nature. You're a refined soul, man. You hear in a refined manner with these. You hear as a jazzer hears more than a greasy blues guy. See, that's outstanding guitar playing. Who could not like that? That's outstanding. Now, what if I said to make that dirty sound? Now, the same thing you got there.
I had an idea. Maybe like.
Is this the same tune or are you playing a blues now?
Blues.
Oh, okay. I meant the same song, but this is cool.
Is it?
All those that's your elegant side. That's the George talking, man. I'd listen to you for about 2 or 3 hours, so you'd keep me for most of the night. I'm being rude talking while you're playing, but I'm trying to communicate ideas to you. Now that's a different texture. If you do walk the bass and do that,
I was thinking about
that's
doing
good.
something like to get to some of the triplet thing
Mhm.
happen. I think George, I hear him doing that.
So if I give you a melody to play, let's see what'll happen.
Okay.
That's a good texture for you to incorporate a lot of.
Yeah, to try
This
the
thing-
walk thing.
Just give them a little chord.
Yeah, and then a little melody on some. I like that.
Now this is going to your
Change
style.
around, yeah.
Now I'm going to go to something real greasy here. Wait, first I want to give you a melody to copy. Go. Yeah.
So you're
Try to do that with the chords and the bass going. Maybe just patching the chords first, then get the bass later.
So it's like, how would I do that?
Try to hear 3 chords. Ray Charles does this. It's what I call jump back blues. For more color, you're on the right track though. Yeah, I knew you could do it on stationary chords. I'm sorry, I didn't make my intention clear enough. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Tell me what.
No,
tell me what
you
you
did.
wanted.
You did great by what you thought I asked you. Right? It's
No.
my fault. What they do is they get a sandwich chord or an insert or a jump back. They jump backwards in the cycle and do this. It's simple like that into its own 5.
Root fifth
So
root.
sorry. Always like a lot of motion in there. It's just a way of Ray was a jazz guy in those days. Lenny did it too. Yeah, what if you use this voicing here with him? Yeah, double melody is an arranger's thing. That's fine.
neat. Yeah, I
You
like
can always
that.
double a melody. How
So,
could I possibly expect you to know?
You're sticking in the D7 there, right?
Actually, you did it right. E7, yes. We go A.
If we're in
forgive me.
G, you
You
go
know what it is? I'm
G.
playing in A. I gotta remember.
Oh, no.
You're playing in G, and I'm playing in
Oh
A.
no, we can do it.
No. Let's stay in your key. So yeah, we're sticking in the
You've been in this
D7
key
as the
too long,
rhythm.
haven't we?
I'll just call it by number. This is 1, 5, 1, right?
Okay.
So the voicing is, these are Lenny voicings.
Okay, yeah, I see.
And then this is same thing but on the 4 chord.
Okay.
This is maybe a half step there for variety. Half step instead of. What I was trying to do is, it was time for variety for my ear. I didn't want to hear another 5, so I
Right.
wanted to hear maybe still something that would give me this with 2 different chords. I didn't want to just take 1 chord and give it. I didn't want to hear another 5. We'd heard enough of them for the moment. So what I did is I went to the flat 2, but my ear doesn't find this to be exciting anymore.
Oh, I see.
So I went the opposite way in the bass to give a 9 effect. It's like going,
So we're still in G, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I like this voice that goes, I like that Gershwin 9th chord sound about myself. A good way to get the funky bluesy sound you're playing is to put your tempo right here. And force yourself to say, now, how could I keep Aretha Franklin in the audience? You have to be very vocal in your melodies.
Yeah.
Or at least expressive, you know, if you can't find it in your heart to sing a melody that, or to play a melody that you would sing, if you can just use the expressive tools of guitar. I felt that you were doing some of that kind of melody, you know. But anyway, that's just one thing for blues. Sometimes you can get down into the bowels of the instrument.
Interesting.
This kind of,
Now are you an A?
I guess I stuck with it once I plugged it in because it is my preferred sound. Just to be lower like you, I like that low sound.
No, I hear you using like a lot of approach chords.
I
and
sure
things
do,
like that,
man.
and I like
Approach
that.
chord is good. I like that sound.
Now, are you thinking of that from kind of individual voices, or are you thinking half step above, the whole structure a half step above?
It's
or
both. It's both.
Combination.
More voice leading, like this happens when I think of this. Gee, I don't know. I really can't honestly say. I think certain sounds I do, this stuff. It's stuff I've worked on myself that I didn't get from a record. I just got it from a book once. Learned some voicings, but that's not like a whole style. It's just something I enjoy doing, those kind of sounds. I don't really think I have a voice as such. I'm like a parrot of a lot of different voices. This is one voice. Something I've worked out that's a way, it's a texture that I enjoy. Two voices.
Sorry, I'm fixing this. It fell apart on me. Should be moving to. I just don't know what the
You're
chords
talking
are.
about these approach chords.
Yeah, all the approach chords and things like that. Now, are you thinking of the names of those chords, or are you just thinking of something
Depends.
different?
Most of the time, if I'm doing functional harmony chord progressions, meaning something like a, or this, I have names like from the function of the chords. Now, this is a tonic, what we call on the West Coast more and more of a tonic diminished chord.
Yeah, right.
And this is the lowered six, the flat
So that's
six.
one of your approaches, is the tonic diminished to
Absolutely.
okay.
To the tonic chord, yeah.
Okay.
And any chord in the key that I hear it coming on. And I didn't invent that. That goes back
No,
to
right,
Bach,
right.
and then
Sure,
especially
sure.
in the Viennese period.
But I guess I'm having
that.
trouble hearing what some of the other ones are, especially when you use like chordal type of things.
Yeah. Okay, say you go. Sorry. There I'm thinking 1, 1, 5, 1.
Okay.
Then these were one series of lines into another 1, which is acting as the 5 of 4. This is A,
Okay.
trash, A, trash, but linear trash. A to D, another D, but it's minor now, or G.
Okay.
And then,
And when you say D minor, it's making me think that you're in the key of A.
remember now, I'm calling out names in G. Sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
You're
My
calling
brain
out
is
an A.
confused too. I'm calling them out in A, but it's sounding in G.
Got it. That's why I'm not touching my guitar. I'm not hitting any notes.
I better
I'm
go
just,
back to
No,
not
I'm
being
just
too
looking
down.
at what you're doing.
I love this
It
sound,
doesn't
but I
matter.
should
I
sacrifice
I
it.
could just
Sure?
I could look at you
Okay.
at what you're doing and see. I don't have perfect pitch, so I could say, well, you're in A,
Don't go
right?
even, right.
You look like you're playing in A, but you're sounding in G.
Yes, this is true.
That's like George.
Yeah, it's funny, when I went for a lesson, real quick vignette, by the second, third, fourth lesson, real early on, I came with one of my guitars that was tuned down a whole step, and I said, George, I hope you don't mind, please don't be upset, but I'll transpose. I just love to play down a whole step. He smiled he just gave me the broadest smile, went to the closet, pulled out his main axe, man, his Epiphone. It was already down, it was down a whole step. And he said, I do too. It was so nice. I mean,
Yeah,
it was great.
that's great. Yeah. Well, that's nice because you sort of found it on your own, you know, and so it means more.
I was trying to imitate him, though. That's one reason I was down there. I just loved his lower sound.
But you didn't know that he did a whole step down, apparently. Maybe
I
your
don't
brain
think I
knew
did.
it.
No, a student once got me onto it inadvertently because I picked up his guitar. He put new strings on, plugged it in. His guitar was new, mine was old. His guitar sounded much richer than mine. And I hated acknowledging it, but I did. And I said, man, your guitar is just so happening. What's going on? And then I realized, I went over to mine and touched it and said, wait a minute, it's down a half step. I turned mine down a half step. It sounded real close to where his was. It was the pitch that I loved.
And Hendrix did that too.
Hendrix and Van Halen, the two biggest influences in rock in the last 30, 40 years. These guys both came down a half step a lot. Not all the time, but a lot. It just sounds gorgeous down there. What can I say?
Because they're playing in the flat keys and
Yeah,
stuff,
I love
right?
the flat keys. What a sound. But I'm in the natural keys a lot down a whole step. That's why for sound of keys, I prefer it 1.5 or a half. But for comfort, whole step is real nice. It feels good. But there's something gorgeous about just being here, calling that E instead of this E.
You know, I'm getting into, with the saxophone player I was telling you about, he's just into so many of these, you know, concepts that are just so complicated and everything that, but he's a real jazz player in that he says, you know, this is jazz and this isn't jazz, and he says the Van Epp stuff. I listened, I played it for him. I said, what do you think about this? He said, it's not jazz.
That's right. George is not a
No.
jazz player. George is an American outstanding
Yeah.
guitar stylist.
Yeah, he just said it's
that leans
good.
into
It's
jazz.
good music.
That's
but,
true.
But you know,
The style you're playing is an elegant style in the same tradition as George's, and there's definitely room for that. The whole culture is imbued with so much raunchiness now that there's room for cats like you that say something more elegant. But if you really want to hold the crowd, you might want to stretch the boundaries. Play sometimes with this kind of tone. I'm serious. It doesn't have to be squawking
like a
and
bright
treble.
tone, bright
Well,
tone?
it's not brighter.
Like with the 2 pickups or something.
I swear it's not bright. If you think of this, you heard this on a record. If somebody played this, no
Oh,
way it
that's
would be
dark.
But it's the bridge pickups. If I go, now I'll kick some reverb in if you'd be so kind. 12 o'clock would be great. So this is a different style of music and a different style of guitar. If I just come out of all that, and let's say I was doing one thing, bass moving, and then another one where it's going more of the contrapuntal, or at least melody floating over chords.
Sure, that's great.
This is coming from still the semi-jazz direction. But this style, it's got a different vibe to it because of the raunchy blue tones and the tone of the treble pick. But it's not bright. You can see my shapes, right?
Yes.
Go back to the blues, or if you stay. Sorry.
Wow.
Try to think blues with a little edgier vibe because of the tone. The tones make turnarounds are different. Not from jazz. I come from gospel music now. Those whole progressions of 4 ofs instead of 5 ofs.
4
4 ofs, yeah. Here, a quick demonstration. We're in E. I'm in E. It'll sound like D at home.
Right.
So if I play just 4 with a dominant 7 in there, a lowered 7, that's an American contribution.
Just going
the
4
4-7 to 1. It's not the same as
Sure.
the 5 ofs are the European thing that we've appropriated for our own use, of course. But this thing, that's the blue dominant. The 4 dominant's got a blue effect. Okay, so we compound that and want to get that even with triads without having to resort to 7th chords. For instance, the D to A progression going has a little bit of that raunchy edge that A7 has.
So where somebody's expecting a 1 chord, they're hearing a 4 chord, but then it's going to a 1.
But when somebody's expecting a 1, what I'm doing here, I might play the 4 of the 4, is what I'm saying. In your key, that would be C. I'm in D concert.
Okay, D.
So in this key, if you played C, G, if you went C, G, D.
You're going like flat 7 or
Flat
something.
7 to 4, but flat 7 acting.
It's kind of subdominant, minor
it's
quality.
Very, well,
I look at it like it's that kind of maybe.
I love the 4 minor. I mean, you don't have to sell me on the qualities of the chord.
Let's see, so here
It's not quite that.
be going,
Okay, let's do it with triads. Now if I do this, this is that 4 dominant. This is raunchy. The 4 dominant is the blue dominant. But if we just go... This comes out of a different tradition than... You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
it's
sure.
a gospel, kind of a dark and black church vibe. Compounding it, I'm going to do in my key G, D, A, E. Each chord is the 4 of the next chord. I'll do it step by step. Here's the A chord to the E.
you're just going up a 5th.
Yeah, it's like a cycle of upward fifths. That's another way to say it.
Yeah.
That's the A to E in my key. I'll just say 4-1. Okay, now here's the 4 of the 4 in front of it.
Right.
Now here's the 4 of the 4 of the 4. With a pedal tone of the 4 for just the hell of it. Now here's with no pedal tones. Diminished approach added in between too.
So if you're thinking in A, you're starting.
Like maybe on a C, G, D, and then an A diminished 7 thrown in for good measure. Key of A. Okay, we'll go to your key of A.
And you're just doing major triads and
Absolutely.
stuff.
It's just a fun way to vary the sound of your palette. That's right. Here's our key. That's right.
But you said A diminished. You're doing a 1 diminished
well, we
there.
could sneak that maybe in 2.
So you're going C.
Yeah. There you want to choose voice leadings that really create contrary motion or oblique motion.
Would this be? Do you think? That's contrary.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, it's going. And then,
not bad. No, I hear you, man.
Yeah, but
I've used it many times.
that's cool. That's interesting. This is something that I haven't been able to figure out what you were doing. I know.
You heard a touch of it in my record.
No,
those days. I didn't do a lot of it in those days.
Yeah.
I wish I had, but I just didn't. But now I do
A little bit.
I got back closer to my roots from childhood as the years have gone on, and I liked all this stuff as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
I was so anti-rock flux. I had years of being a strong rock player, and I got out of the scene because cats were dying from drugs, bad stuff. So I just kind of went way far away, and so I didn't touch anything like this for a long time. But a touch of it crept into my record, actually.
Well, what if let's say you were in A and
Yeah,
you're
this is
do
good if
something
you ask
like,
me questions.
let's see. All I did was play A and D, but what could I do in there? Do the C thing?
I'll try to find something that will answer your question. I still have to go back and answer the first question I promised
Okay.
I would, because I never fully we took a side turn.
Which one was that?
The one about how I'm thinking of the voicing. Because I told you how to do it if you want to sound like Lenny.
Yeah.
But I want to hip you to this other way to think, because I think you're getting kicked out. What do you think about this? Let me just get into the key for a second. Definitely did the 4 ofs there.
Yeah. Now, what did you start on up there?
I started
Like an F.
for your key at the
Wow,
F and A.
that's very hip.
F.
So you went
C.
F, C, G, A. No, G, D, A.
Amen. That's right.
Ah. Boy, that's interesting.
So using a touch of that. With a pedal tone. There's that little diminished inference. As far as 2-note stuff with that, that's the E7 to A.
I like that.
I mean, the 4-7 to 1. Yeah, I'm a 4-7 freak. I love that chord. Don't you like it?
So what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking of
at that point.
4 dominant 9 is a chord I really like. Double line, locked, double line texture. Looks real goofy.
Now, some of them are augmented fourths and some of them are perfect fourths.
So that's because when you play a dominant 9 chord, this,
Okay, so you're thinking an E dominant 9
yeah,
there,
my
right?
key, because I'm in
Okay.
B. This,
So play that thing again. up
What's
there.
that?
So play that thing again where you did the 2 notes and you started up
This
there.
stuff?
Yeah.
so this is, can you see that all right?
Right.
That'll be your key of D9, or chord of D9, I should say.
Right.
That's the 5 and the 9, right?
Right.
This is 3 and flat 7.
I see what you're doing. So if we did it down the neck this way, it'd be like. I'm sorry, no.
Let's see, I use 9 and
Would it be a
5.
perfect fit? 9 and 5.
It's not the intervals only. It's especially which tones you're in the mood to hear. I try to listen from the top note for a simple reason, Steve, which is if I say sing it back, you're going to go bee ba
Melody.
boo ba.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to that melody. Yeah.
If I start down low, I'm going to mainly play a 7th chord, not worry about the 9th tone. But as I get up higher, I start kicking the 1 up and treating it as if it's an 8. An arranger's substitute is 9 for 8. So I start taking 5 1 and
And you'll
making
do
it
like
5 9.
6 or 13s in there.
I do have the 13. I love the 13, man. You get
That's so cool.
it's this thing. Let's see.
I like that.
Yeah, I like
See,
the-
that's something George and Lenny haven't done. You know.
I heard George do something with fifths once on one record that was just like this, and it just set me.
Is that right?
I was pinned to the wall. Still to this day, don't know how he got so many notes ringing. It sounded like he had 14 strings, not 7.
Wow.
It was just ringing everywhere.
I think I know what you're talking
There's
about.
one moment. It's like it's one of those kind of things,
Yes,
but it's just
I know what
so-
you're talking
And I
about.
thought, man, how come he didn't make a whole style out of that? That is so hit. But
Was that
just-
on maybe mellow guitar or something?
I wish I could remember. It's been a lot of years.
I know.
I
I
haven't-
tend to remember that
I
something
stay
just
away from
floored
my
me
heroes.
like that too. You know.
It's really weird. I have to stay away from listening to my heroes because I just want to play just like them when I hear it.
Yeah, I
And so,
know.
and that's great, but
But you
it's
gotta
not great
do
because they
you.
already did. Yeah, we all supposed to say our own thing. So I reluctantly, like Wes, just thrills me, man. But
Yeah.
I just a few times a year I'll cart out a couple hours of my lifetime and say, all right, you can just fool with me. I just love the way that guy plays guitar, man.
Yeah.